Hi, everyone. I want to show you some visual notes that I took recently when I attended a training magazine network webinar. Today, I want to show you my notes from 3 simple tips for creating active, engaging workshops. And I'll talk you through the content from the webinar. Then I'll also comment on my visual notes and why I made certain decisions. So you can see in the title, since it's 3 simple tips, I emphasize that with a large 3. In all of my notes, I try to put the title, the presenter's name, Tolu Noah, and the date. I like it when presenters say, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to do something, or I'm going to show you 3 ways to do something. So in this example, even from the title, you can see that it's 3 simple tips. And as expected, the outline of the presentation follows that model. So you have activate prior knowledge, process new information, and apply what you've learned. So let's walk through this. So I used a large A for activate prior knowledge, and then Tolu talked about some specific ideas. So you give the attendees an entrance ticket and something like, what do you know? Or you draw a sketch, draw a concept map of this topic to see how much you know. You can do this on index cards. You can use an app like Miro. I like the one called 3 words. What 3 words do you associate with this topic? And typically in my notes, I use a speech bubble and a headshot to bring out what I think are key points. So I really like this one. So I drew a quick little headshot and then put this question in the speech bubble. A couple of other things you can do are guess the stats, or you can do a more formal assessment with like a pre and a post evaluation of statements that participants would be exposed to during the training. So process new information. The boring way to do this would be traditional retrieval practice like a quiz or a test, something like that. What have they retained and how accurate is it? You can be more creative, and I really like the idea of being interactive with participants. And one model is thoughts, questions, epiphanies. So you put these letters on a whiteboard or a board with sticky notes, give everyone sticky notes, and ask them, what are your thoughts about what we've learned so far? What questions do you have? And what ideas or takeaways already do you have? So for process new information, I started out at the bottom of this page, and then I moved over to this page. So another way to process new information is through visualization activities, such as sketch notes, which of course I like, and concept maps, like a mind map. Another scenario or another way to do this that Tolu talked about was called Make It Right, where you give a scenario or a case study that has errors and ask the participants to identify the errors and correct those. This is something that could be done individually with each participant doing their own thing or in groups, which is what I would recommend. You can also do social annotation, especially if you're online. You can throw up a Google Doc or something like that, put it in a space where everybody has permissions to edit it, and just let everybody mark up the document. Another way to process new information is by selecting activities from the site called Liberating Structures. You can see that I like this so much that I put a star beside it. Whenever you see a star in my notes, that means it's something that the presenter repeatedly said or really drew emphasis to. So for the Liberating Structures, this consists of 30 activities that you can go and get at liberatingstructures.com. The example that Tolu showed was called 1, 2, 4, all. Starts out with a little bit of reflection time individually for each participant. Then participants group together as pairs. Then 2 pairs group together as a foursome. And then finally, everyone comes back together as the large main group of participants to discuss their learning and their takeaways from the content so far. The last step in the process, the last tip, is to apply. So you've activated prior knowledge, you've processed new information. How do you apply what you've learned? There are a variety of techniques. You could still use this 1, 2, 4 all to do that. Paired teach back. So ask participants to share something that they've learned to teach it back. You can go through case studies. You can do role plays, have some projects. And then one that I really like is wow, how now, which is sort of similar to the STOTS questions and epiphanies. What is something that just amazed you from the training? Like, wow, I just learned this and I never thought about it. How will you apply what you learned? And then now, what is the action step that you're going to take to apply what you have learned? I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of my notes, and you can see that visual notes can be applied to any type of situation in any type of notebook. This is not a fancy notebook. This is where I keep my daily schedule and my task lists, but then I have space to take notes as I need to. If you found this video helpful, please like it and subscribe to this channel, Notes for Learning.